What's good, everybody? I finally get some time to recap Gervonta Tank Davis versus Hector Luis Garcia card. It was a very, very entertaining card. And I also want to talk about Errol Spence versus Keith Thurman at 154. Not 147, but 154. Now, Tank Davis, you feel me? I gotta give him his props. I gotta give Lil Tank his props, man, for the knockout. What's good, True the King? I've been seeing you going hard over there lately, man. I gotta come through. But yeah, though, I give Tank credit. The first 3 rounds of the fight, it wasn't much action. Hector Luis Garcia, he was keeping Tank up off of him with that jab. That jab wasn't landing a lot. Tank was, pushing a lot of them away. I let a lot of them bounce off his gloves. You feel me? And it took 3 rounds. He gave up 3 rounds because it wasn't a lot going on, but Hector Luis Garcia, he was throwing the jab out there. So you got to give it to him. Now, when Tank turned up in the 4th round, man, he looked it real good. He looked it real good. And he didn't have to get on his back foot a lot for this fight. You know, he was there in there for the kill off the rip. And that's exactly what he got in the 8th round. Hector Luis Garcia didn't come out for the 9th round. And 1 second. Yeah, I liked it what I seen out of Tank. He had a nice mixture to the body too. He got a nice right hook. He was touching Hector at will. You know, he was beating him to the punch. And I seen a little concern for the Ryan Garcia fight because the punch he got hit with the most in that fight was the left hook coming in. Hector Luis Garcia landed a decent amount of left hooks. And we all know that's Ryan Garcia's best punch. So Tank got to watch out for that and make adjustments, which he did in the Hector Luis Garcia fight. And Tank's just special. He does his thing. He knocks out everybody on his resume except for 2 people. And I like the way that he rallied. And when he took over the fight, he took over the fight. I think the 6th round was a little close, but Tank, he shined from the 4th to the 8th. Because man, I can't lie. I think Tank got to be like one of the only fighters at 135 with that real deal one punch knockout power. He hit Hector Luis Garcia with that left hand and his right eye. He said that he was blind out of his eye and all that. And his corner had to throw in the towel. My prediction was 9th round Tank. But I don't know if you consider that right or not because they went 8 full rounds. He didn't come out at all for the 9th. My prediction was Tank getting it done in the middle of the 9th or something like that. So I was a round off. But Hector Luis Garcia, I don't know. He thought he was knocked out, but he stayed on his feet. Like you can get knocked out but stay on your feet. You know what I mean? And I believe that he really did feel that he got hit clean. And he didn't even really do much else after that. He pumped the jab out there a little bit and just survived until the bell rung. And he just never came back out. Tank. I feel like and when he started pumping his jab as well to come in on Hector Luis Garcia, and that's why he got touched a little less with the left hook. you know. Tank when he had got going and he started coming in a little reckless, but he was just to the point where he had to walk through Hector to land his, and that's exactly what he did, you know. And next he gonna fight Ryan Garcia. I always was against the fight, but nowadays, I'm ready for the fight, especially with no Spence and Crawford. Now, you know, might as well just bring the damn Instagram fight. Let them, see who gonna be the Instagram star of boxing or whatever. But I can't even really say that for Tank anymore because Tank want to fight Shakur or Haney after that. You know what I mean? Ryan Garcia, he bypassed his tune-up. He was supposed to fight around the same time Tank fought Hector Luis Garcia, but he bypassed it and he said that he wanted to fight Tank on April the 15th. He got disowned reporters and Oscar De La Hoya saying that it's a bad move. And, you know, I think I don't think it's that bad of a move. I'm just worried about him making it to the fight because he's starting to talk that bullshit again that he was that first time him and Tank was supposed to fight. Talking about he gonna knock Tank out in 2 rounds and Tank ain't this, Tank ain't that, and then he just started, calling mental health, saying that his head ain't right enough to fight Tank. And then he went on and fought Fortuna. No, he said that he was going to fight Manny Pacquiao. He said that his head wasn't right and he'd rather fight Manny Pacquiao, a 147 pounder. He said he was going to fight him at 144. Y'all remember that shit? Yeah, Ryan Garcia is a clown, but if he actually gets in that ring with Tank Davis, you feel me, and put his O on the line, put the Instagram followers on the line, I gotta respect that. And he definitely better fight Tank Davis. He better not have no reason to pull out of this fight because uh he already trying to find every excuse. He was Devin Haney's mandatory. Don't want to fight him. Shakur Stevenson, I don't even think I ever heard him respond to Shakur. Like, who else you gonna fight? He at 140. The only reason to run away from all that smoke at 140 is to fight Tank Davis, you know? And so far, it's looking like it's gonna happen. I'm not gonna shit on the fight. It looked like it's gonna happen. But yeah, though, Tank, he shined on this card. He's still giving away rounds and stuff. That stuff like that is the reason why I can't pick him over Shakur and Haney. What's good, brother Omari? What's good, boxing learner? Y'all just chilling out today? But yeah, though, Andrade, let me talk about the card. Andrade and Demond Nicholson. Andrade, he looked it real good. He's calling for that smoke. Charlo, Benavidez. He called out Plant. Uh, I don't think he called out Morrell, but PBC at 168, we got a lot of shit to look forward to, man. Out of those 4 or 5 guys, we finna get some great fights, I think, this year. We already got Plant Benavidez. I think we might get Andrade and somebody. Cause I think Plant Benavidez winner, they going after Canelo, and rightfully so. And I think Benavidez would be like the WBC mandatory or something if he wins that. And I can't lie, if Caleb Plant did beat Benavidez and look real good doing it, I wouldn't mind seeing Canelo rematched. I would have some hope that Plant would be able to beat Canelo this time, especially if he beat Benavidez, who I feel like can beat Canelo ass anyway. Yeah, I would say that he deserves that fight again. But if Benavidez win, Canelo, he's gonna try to find a way around it or whatever. But it's just that it's gonna be more pressure for him to take that fight. Canelo, he finna fight John Ryder. And I seen that fight coming for years, man. I knew Canelo was finna fight John Ryder at some point. You feel me? He's sitting out a whole year. I think he gonna come back either May or September or something like that. But yeah, though things been a little quiet without Canelo. What's good, Sturdy? Appreciate all y'all coming through. The second fight, Rashidi. I'm real disappointed in Rashidi. I don't feel sorry for him for losing because he turned down the Boots fight. He turned down the Boots fight. I know the fight because people, non-contenders, I mean non-champions, they be wanting like at least 1 million to fight Boots. And he said the offer was low. So I think that the offer probably was like 100 or 200,000 or maybe less than that or something. But still, I don't feel like that's the excuse, man, because Rashidi, he didn't have a lot of paths to a title shot or superstardom. Like he's one of those fighters who has to take a tough fight before a title shot. You know what I mean? To really get his name out there, to really climb up the rankings really fast. Like the rest of them. You know, I just felt like he just shouldn't have turned it down. And I feel like he probably did turn down Virgil Ortiz when he was with Golden Boy. Because before the fight at the press conference, him and Boots was getting into it. And Boots say that you turned it down. You feel me? We were supposed to be fighting right now. And people give Rashidi that pass talking about, well, if the money ain't there, then but I just don't feel like Rashidi could afford to turn down fights like that. And now he fought Villa and he lost to him. Like, of course, me personally, like how I score boxing, like I score for the boxer. And yes, Rashidi did outbox him for more than 7 rounds, but it's just he got knocked down once, and then he got knocked down twice in the 12th round in the last second. So that's 4 points right there. And like, it was like a extra round or two that was maybe close that he probably could have got, you know, swung Villa's way. But I still felt like he edged it a little bit. But of course, when you end fights looking like that, you open yourself up for a robbery. And it's fucked up in my situation because it's not about how you end the fight. It's about who won 7 rounds. You know what I mean? But he looked it real, real bad to end that fight. And like I said in the prediction video, Rashidi, he has a gas tank problem. He started off real fast against Villa. And even in Rashidi's biggest win against Rocha, I told y'all watched that fight, man. He was kind of gassing out, and Rocha was coming back. You know, gas tank to me is so important, man. It could be the difference between the A fighter and the B fighter, in my opinion. Like gas tank is real important in how you budget your energy throughout 12 rounds. You know what I mean? Like Fury, like I don't think that his gas tank is as good as people think. I think he knows how to budget his energy, and he got a poker face, and you know what I mean. Fury. He just not gonna let you know that he's tired, and when he really is, and he knows how to keep you off of him until he gets his win back. You know what I mean? Like Rashidi, like Villa was throwing a lot of punches while Rashidi was throwing a lot of punches, but still, you know what I mean? Like that gas tank is super important, dog. And Rashidi just faded, and Villa just got stronger and stronger. Yeah, that's just one of those fights. That was a good fight, though, man. Now Boots was the talk of the town, talk of the whole card, because Boots finally had a fight where he didn't look great. You feel me? He fought Karen. Karen, Karen, he showed good footwork. He showed real good footwork, but it's just the offense just wasn't there to win not one round. Boots did win a 12-0, but we did learn something about Boots that he's not really great at cutting off the ring. And you know what I mean? Like he abandoned his jab. And I didn't expect him to do that because I feel like Boots has one of the best jabs in welterweight. I'm not gonna say all of boxing, but at welterweight, you know what I mean? And I think that it's a huge concern for Boots because cutting off the ring is gonna be important for him, especially if he's gonna be fighting at welterweight for years because he's gonna be bigger and a much bigger puncher than a lot of his opponents. So a lot of his opponents are gonna be moving around the ring, so he gonna have to need to know how to cut that off. Now, I was super, super high on Boots. I'm talking about legendary. Like I thought this, Boots was like a Thomas Hearns type. You feel me? Like Ray Leonard, Ray Robinson. But he's still at A level. He's still on the A level for sure. He's still, I think I still would favor him over Spence and maybe Crawford as 50-50 because I thought he would knock both of those guys out, but that what we just seen, he can't go against Terrence Crawford looking like that. And a lot of his punches was not accurate. I think he landed like a like less than 30% of his punches. But he won. That's the thing about it. And he's the IBF interim champ, the mandatory for Errol Spence, basically. But yeah, though, like if he was to fight Bud like that, he could get knocked out because Bud, he's gonna have to come forward on Bud, and Bud has really good footwork, and Bud will keep him spinning and hitting him with shots he don't see. And Bud, he showed off a decent jab in his last fight against Avanesian. You know, I just thought that this kid would be too big, strong, because he got that right hand, that dominant, that dynamite right hand, and Bud get hit with right hands all day long. So I always felt like he would knock out Bud, but if that if that's how he's gonna come at Bud the way he came at Karen, I don't think that's gonna get the job done. But Bud is like 36 years old right now. He's 23, 24. Like he's over 10 years younger than Bud. So I can't favor Bud in a fight like that. You know what I mean? And if he was to fight Ennis, he's gonna be like 37, 38 years old. I mean, how can you favor Bud in a fight like that against, the next up in the next generation? Like a lot of us look at Boots as the best fighter in this next generation. You know what I mean? I would still have to favor him over Bud. But if he was to fight Spence maybe a year or two at 154 and Spence still in his prime, he probably could lose that fight too. But Spence, he's less mobile. Spence gonna be standing right in front of him. So anybody with that style, I can't really say it's gonna beat Ennis. You know what I mean? Because Ennis, if you come into him, he can do it all. He's got the jab, he's got the footwork to keep you turning, hooks from hell. He just he does pretty much everything. You know, and he's gonna have like over 5 years worth of youth over Errol Spence as well. He's like 8 years younger than him. You know what I mean? But if Spence was smart, he would fight Ennis probably like next or something like that. And Spence, he's fighting Keith Thurman at 154, and I really don't like this fight. I hate it. I hate it. You know, I only was finna accept this fight because it was finna be a 147 mandatory, and he could still fight Thurman and link up with Bud for undisputed. But y'all gotta remember, Errol Spence did say that before the Ugas fight that he gonna try to get the Crawford fight. If not, he gonna go up. I just don't think actually doing that is gonna look real good because this is officially telling me that this fight is gone. And I always had some negative energy for this fight. I always felt like it was gonna happen like the first quarter of this year. But him moving up a whole nother weight class, it's just I just don't see it. He gonna feel real good at 154. Errol Spence, he's going, have to cut less weight. And I think that Errol Spence is gonna be throwing a lot of more punches. He already throw a lot of punches at welterweight. Spence gonna be like 1,000 punch plus fighter at 154. He can do some damage up there, but the real fights are at 147 right now. You got Crawford, Ennis, Virgil. You can even put Virgil in there. You know, there's a lot of fights that we'd rather see at 147. Well, me personally, but the fights at 154 with like Lubin and Harrison, those are good fights too. But like, man, we'd rather have the other. You know, and Spence is getting come down on hard, saying that this is a duck. He did. It's me personally. I just don't like the 154 part. I was willing to accept the Keith Thurman at 147 because I thought that he was getting forced to do that. This isn't. This is not that. Like he's choosing to fight Keith Thurman at 154. And there's so many better fights that he could be doing right now. He's under a year layoff still, you know. I wouldn't be mad at him if he would have picked Ennis and fought Ennis off of that bad performance. I would have understood that. It's just I don't know, man. Earl, it's gonna be entertaining for Earl at 154, but like what fights are really there at 154? I mean, Fundora, like I'm talking about fights that will really boost his legacy, like the Crawford fight or even the Ennis fight. You know, Me personally, if he was to beat up Ennis, he'd get just as much credit as if he fought Crawford. You feel me? Because I just think Ennis is that good. But yeah, though, I just wanted to put my input on this. Earl Spence, guard from welterweight. It's a real sad day because this officially pretty much says no more Spence and Crawford, you know? Because what the hell is Terrence Crawford going up to 154 for? And Spence is holding on to his belts at 147. So you can say that he's holding up the division. Shit. What's good, 1-2 kid? Yeah, you can say he's holding up the division because if he was to drop those belts, there's a lot of entertaining fights at 147 if Spence was to leave. Terrence Crawford versus all the young guns and stuff, that shit, welterweight would still be jumping. But yeah, though, man. Spence Crawford, man. Riddick Bowe, Lennox Lewis, man. I just hate to see it. And I'm just getting tired of calling either one a duck because shit, I already knew as soon as Spence announced a fight, it's gonna be uproar. They gonna call him a duck. I don't even care who's the duck. It's just the fight's not happening, man. And Spence leaving the whole division, I just ain't helping out none, you know. So if y'all mad at Spence, y'all got a right to be. You know, hopefully we get Crawford and Ennis, Crawford Ortiz, you know, maybe Rashidi. Oh yeah, Via might fight Boots, who just beat Rashidi. That'll be decent because Boots, I'm not sure. I don't think Boots gonna get a big fight next. Boots say that oh they might fight him now after the bad performance, but I just don't really think how it goes. Even after the bad performance, they're just gonna say you got exposed. You need to go do something, and just still not fight him, which is a shame. But all right, y'all. I'm gonna holla at y'all. I'm either come back tonight or tomorrow with some more shit.